Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something a bit different. We are going to be talking all about audiobooks, and more specifically, the new love of my life, my library's audio app. I'm going to chat about audiobooks and libraries and how they're awesome. I'm going to tell you about a few audiobooks that I've listened to recently and what's on my audiobook TBR. So I love audiobooks. I've been listening to audiobooks since I was born. Audiobooks now make up a massive chunk of my reading. Like many other people, the majority of my audiobooks used to come from Audible and Scribd. Then a few months ago, when myself and Cameron moved to Manchester, I signed up to my local library and downloaded my library's audiobook app, and it changed my life. In case you may need it, here is your reminder that libraries are fucking awesome. Become a member of your local library, ask about the library's audio app. It's basically exactly like being on Audible, but it's free and you're not supporting Amazon. My personal library's audiobook app is so good. It's filled with thousands of backlist titles, but also so many brand new books. I was really surprised at the amount of new releases, and it gets updated all the time. Honestly, it's super easy to use. It has everything you'd want. So I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks on there recently, and today I thought we could chat about some. 3 audiobooks that I've listened to recently and 3 that I will be listening to very soon. Let's go. One of the first audiobooks that I listened to on my library audio app was Lowborn by Kerry Hudson. This is a memoir exploring what it is to be poor in Britain today. Throughout the book, Kerry Hudson revisits the working class towns in which she grew up as she moved around with her single mother from council flats to B&Bs. So I love listening to non-fiction on audio, especially memoirs, and especially when they're read by the author. This was awesome. I loved going on this journey with Kerry Hudson, hearing from a working class woman and where she came from and where she is now. I loved how vulnerable this felt, how compassionate and without judgment. Obviously, this is pretty grim and eye-opening. Britain is in such a shit state when it comes to the class divide, and this really shines a light on the experiences of poor people. Brilliantly insightful and brilliantly written, this was an important listen for me. Next, I listened to The Switch by Beth O'Leary. This is a contemporary women's fiction romance novel telling the story of 20-something Lena and her grandmother. When they are both feeling in a bit of a rut with their lives, they decide to do a house swap from their respective homes in London and a small Yorkshire town. So I've recently been getting into this genre and I totally loved this one. This was just everything I wanted. It has a gorgeous, delightful plot. I loved not only the 2 main characters and their relationship, but also all of the side characters. They felt so real. I totally bought both of these communities and all of these characters. The writing is lovely, the dialogue is sweet and humorous and heartfelt. Obviously, there is also romance in here, which I was totally rooting for. The audiobook itself is also really, really great. I loved both of the narrators for both of the central women. Big recommend all around. This was so enjoyable. The 3rd audiobook that I listened to recently was Mrs. Gaskell and Me by Nell Stevens. So this is a hybrid memoir novel. Half of the chapters tell the story of Nell Stevens in 2018 as she embarks on a PhD in mid-19th century writers in Rome and as she falls dramatically in love. The other chapters tell the story of Elizabeth Gaskell in the 1850s as she travels to Rome and meets the love of her life. The 2 stories run alongside one another, complement one another, and entwine in unexpected ways. This was so good. I loved the blend of fiction with non-fiction and the mix of experiences of Nell Stevens and Mrs. Gaskell's. It was just a really delightful read, really consumable. I was totally rooting for both women throughout. Nell Stevens' personality really comes through as well. You really get a sense of her love of literature and Elizabeth Gaskell in particular. particular. Highly recommend if you're interested, and if you're already a fan of Elizabeth Gaskell, you will love this. So now for 3 books on my audiobook TBR. The first one is A Tidy Ending by Joanna Cannon. This is a brand new novel that I was super happy to see on my library audiobook app. It follows the story of a normal woman who lives on a normal street with her normal husband as she becomes obsessed with the woman who previously lived in her home, and some local murders begin. I am a massive fan of Joanna Cannon. She writes the most delightful and witty, small town, cozy vibes books with quirky characters and the layer of mystery and intrigue over the top. I have super high hopes for this. I think it's going to be so much fun. I will be listening to it as soon as it becomes available to me. Next up, we have Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins-Reid. All I know about this one is that it tells the story of an iconic female-fronted 1970s rock band and explores the mystery of their infamous breakup. So I really like Taylor Jenkins-Reid. I've only read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by her, but I loved it. I've been wanting to read more by her ever since. I'm intrigued by the 1970s setting here, the coming of age while in the spotlight narrative. I expect there's going to be intrigue and scandal. I really hope to root for the protagonist Daisy. We will see how I get on with this. And finally, we have I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. This is another really new book. It is YA romance. I believe it follows the story of 2 rival high school girls who are both running for valedictorian when a month before graduation they kiss and then one of the girls goes missing. I have never read any Casey McQuiston, although I really want to read Red, White and Royal Blue. I've just heard so many good things about this author and this new book in particular. I'm hoping for rival to lovers, small town, high school vibes, messy relationships. Really excited to see if I love this one as much as everyone else. So there we go. Those were 3 audiobooks that I've listened to recently and absolutely loved, and 3 audiobooks that are on my TBR. Please chat to me down below about audiobooks. Do you listen to a lot of audiobooks? What do you like to listen to on audio? And what's your favorite audiobook that you've listened to recently? Thanks so much for watching this video, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a bit different to normal. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you're having great weeks, and I will hopefully see you soon in another video. Bye everyone.